Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the start, well, kind of, for the second half of The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on, is it possible? How could they do it? Would they be able somehow to save The Walking Dead, even after the news that Michonne will be leaving? I don't think you can do it, Kang. I don't think you can save this show. Alright guys, so spoiler warning for anyone who is not caught up for The Walking Dead, and if you haven't seen the recent news in the channel, basically Denai Guerrero is going to be the next to leave The Walking Dead next season, in Season 10. Will be her last season on the series according to the news and according to the contracts, which contracts are pretty good to go by, because if you know how long someone signed on for, you can pretty much figure how it's going to go. So I'm going to go through the comments from yesterday's video. If you missed it, about Denai Guerrero leaving the show and all the details involved with that and what that looks like for the movies and whatever else we see. You know, the end screen videos in this video, after you're done watching this one, it'll come up for you, and you can watch it in the channel after you're done with this one. So in this one, we're going to go through your guys' comments, see your responses, see your reactions for how you feel about this news once we found out now that she's going to be leaving the series and that next year will be her last season, and what looks like it might be a similar type of exit to, somewhat similar to Rick or Maggie or one of these types of characters. So in this one, pretty much how to save The Walking Dead. So this is basically where we're at right now. A lot of people, the biggest response right away is it's dead. Like if she leaves too next year, it's over. You know what I mean? Just call it a day. It's done, right? Like Season 10, that's going to be it. It's over, right? And that was the overwhelming response that I saw from almost everybody. There's a few here and there that said, like, you know, who cares, that type of thing. It's just a couple, because most people really like Michonne, and of course you don't have that many OG Walking Dead survivors left. So when she leaves, it's going to be like, oh man, that is going to be another huge blow to the roster, a huge blow to the characters for The Walking Dead. And The Walking Dead original series is getting to the point where it's just feeling so weak compared to what it was a couple years ago. It really feels like, if you think about it, Season 8, like the end of All Out War, was sort of like a big finale for the Walking Dead series, and with Rick leaving this year in the first 5 episodes, it's sort of like that's like wrapping up the first section of The Walking Dead, and whatever territory we're in now, who knows what the hell is going to happen. So Bratislava, Peric said, The Walking Dead equals the Titanic. Slowly but surely is sinking now. And obsolete mule, who said, it's all over. Sheila, Mac-Abee said, no, please tell me this is not true. It sounds like it is true for Sheila. I'm sorry, Sheila, but it sounds like it is true. It was the same thing last year. A lot of us were in denial after the Rick news, but it was like, you know, one day by day, we started seeing more and more stuff that made it seem legitimate. This one is pretty much easy to say, because we knew the contract was coming up, and THR is pretty reliable. So from what they said, it sounds like the negotiations didn't go through for the TV series, but that she's going to want to do something similar to what Andrew Lincoln did, to parallel it to anybody, you know, not as similar to Maggie, because it sounds like she probably won't be coming back after she leaves. You never know, but that's what it looks like right now. Toxik Blackrain says, I think Negan will play the role of the parent when Michonne leaves. So I think we're being set up for that already. Daryl has taken Negan's storyline from the comics, so some theories about how this is going to go. But specifically what I wanted to get into here was what a couple people called out, which is what I thought of too, but not right away. The knee-jerk reaction is it's going to kill The Walking Dead. When she leaves, there's going to be almost no cast or crew left of those OG characters, and you're basically going to have a dead series. But we can't forget that, of course, there is Fear of the Walking Dead as well too, and they have a lot of characters in Fear. Now you've got Morgan and Dwight, you've got Alicia, Strand, and, well, you know, Lucienne. I don't know if we can really count as like a standout character, but you know, Fear is building its own characters. You've got Morgan, Dwight, and Alicia and Strand, so I put them in a pretty high category. if you were in a couple years, so this is season 9, it's just ending. Season 5 of Fear starts after that, sometime this spring. And then, of course, you'd have season 10 of The Walking Dead, which she'll be back for, as well as Norman Reedus, Daryl, and Carol, and a lot of the others, too. Whisperers, I'm sure, will all be back. Whichever of them are still alive at that point. Granted, The Walking Dead has to have character deaths, too, because that's part of the formula. But so season 10 will be Fear, season 6. But then, if season 11, okay, so she's gone by season 11, so she leaves in season 10, she's gone after that point, and yeah, you've got a pretty light roster, but, a lot of people call this out, which is, you have a lot of characters in Fear. So how you fix it is, if The Walking Dead gets so weak that there is not enough characters there to even make anyone care about the story or drive the story, Dandy, Mandy, with Stripes, and Rockhunter Jesus, as well as some other people too, called it out that don't forget that you've got an entire other cast of characters in Fear of the Walking Dead. And again, some of them are newer, Althea and some of the others that John and some of the ones people might not care that much about, June right now. But in a couple years, if The Walking Dead gets really weak and Fear of the Walking Dead kind of fizzles out and not that many people are watching it, then what you do is you just take the characters from Fear and Morgan and you say, hey, let's go back and check out Alexandria and see how things are going there. And you just cross them back and you combine the shows back together. So that's how you can do it. So even though you have so many people have left the original Walking Dead series, if worst comes to worst, they can always take the Fear cast and recombine it with the original Walking Dead series. You can amalgamate the series back again. You can end Fear because it might be fizzling out in a couple years anyway based on demand. And then we'll see how that goes. You never know. You can't really say for sure, but that might happen. And then if The Walking Dead starts to kind of have trouble too, you combine it back. You have Fear merge back into The Walking Dead, and then you have a pretty a good size cast again because you could take all those characters from Fear, combine them back, and you're good. I mean, you're never going to replace Rick. You're never going to replace Carl or Michonne or like a Daryl if he ever was to leave. But you can take what they do have and you can bring them in, and you'll at least have enough characters that have enough of a background and to make people care. It might not be a perfect solution, but I think that if The Walking Dead's cast does get small enough that they could always do that, and it could always work, especially because Morgan's there. Right? I mean, the others is like, okay, yeah, Dwight and Alicia, and who knows if Troy will still be alive at that point, and Daniel, but because you have Morgan, you could always bring Morgan back, and he's as OG as he's from the pilot episode of the series. So even though he wasn't in every season or in every episode, he's more OG than even Michonne. So you could have him come back, and it wouldn't be so bad. So yeah, it sucks that Denai Guerrero is going to be leaving. Yes, it's going to be another hole there that they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do after season 10. But like everyone here is saying, or these few people here are saying, that could be a good way to save the show. You could collapse Fear into The Walking Dead, recombine them again, strengthen The Walking Dead with the roster from Fear, and make it improve the numbers and make The Walking Dead great again. Right? I don't have my red trucker hat, but so I haven't totally lost hope in the series. I do think it is a big time downer if Michonne does leave, but I don't think it's the end. It's just it's not great news either. It's really sad though too to hear that she's going to be leaving after next year. And it's not what any of us wanted because there's just so few standout characters in The Walking Dead right now. And it looks like The Walking Dead might be going through a couple years that could be, a struggle for it. Like, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years specifically, that it's going to be really tough for them to get through. If they can somehow get through it and, build a fan base around some of these other characters, build some of them up, and keep at least a few of those really old characters are still around from the first season or the first few seasons, then that's great too, even though they're few and far between now. So yeah, once they merge it with Fear, they'll have lots of characters. So it's very true. Michaela Stockbauer says, is there a possibility that the Walking Dead makers do not really have the intention to keep a lot of the OG cast in the show? So for Michaela, no, I don't think it's intentional that this is happening. It is a victim of its own success. I said that probably a year or 2 years ago, that basically the show became so popular that the cast and crew got so much exposure that all their careers, as a result of it, got better opportunities. They exploded. They became even bigger. Like Norman Reedus, in his 3-year contract, from what I heard online or read online, it's a fat contract. It's a good contract, at least from what they say online. Don't shoot me with a bolt, Daryl. But it's make some money, right? So good for him and good for Kara. I'm sure they did fine. But that's the thing, right? Their contracts end. They have to renegotiate, and they're going to want more. And so it's just a natural way that things go. And when a couple people get it, other people are going to want to get it. And they've got to weigh their options. The person's got to decide: am I going to go to do movies? Am I going to go to do other TV series? Or can they pay me enough to stay? Will they pay me enough to stay? Can they? Because there's a lot of characters in The Walking Dead. The zombies cost a bunch to make, the environments and everything, and they have a certain budget that they're going for, so they don't take on too much risk, and a chance losing money too, right? So it's difficult for them as well. So it's a tough situation, and they're not doing it on purpose. It's just that it's tough, man. After someone's contract runs out after 8 years or 9 years or whatever, it's tough to keep them sometimes. Sometimes they want to move on. So, and you can't fault them for that. If you put in 10 years, a decade of work into something, and eventually you want to move on, that's just, no one can fault you for that. You put your time in, and all these people have. So, I'm sure they do want to keep them. I'm sure they would like to keep basically all of them, but it's probably very expensive to do so. And they have to weigh their options and decide whether or not it's worth it. You can't give everybody, every single person, $30 million deals or whatever the hell it is for a few years or something. You can't do it. Madara, God, Uchi, Invincible 24 says, Trev, what are your thoughts on a potential Maggie spinoff series? So there were some articles online, I don't know if you guys saw this, talks about a potential Maggie spinoff series for The Walking Dead. And basically, some of the people involved, I'm not sure if it was Lauren Cohan or Angela Kang or somebody like that. I'd have to look up the article to see for sure. But there was some articles that were mentioning a possibility of a Maggie spinoff series, and that it had been discussed. I don't know how far they want to, that's tough to say, right? It depends how far you want to take The Walking Dead. Like, you don't want to water it down too much, right? You already have The Walking Dead, you have Fear, and now you have the movies coming up. Do you really, and then you have Ride with Norman Reedus, you have Talking Dead, like, how many series are you going to have? I mean, it's flattering that they feel like we love The Walking Dead so much, and The Walking Dead is so great that they can do 5 series based on it, or however many you want to count it as. But to add on like another one like that is like, maybe they could do it if they really want to. But, I don't know, man, a potential Maggie spinoff. It's like, can't you just bring some, I'd just rather see her back in the original series, man. That's really what I'm saying. Like, just bring her back to the original show, because you need to keep some people in the original show. Like, some people gotta carry that flag and carry the banner and keep going. If it's going to be just Daryl and Carol, then it's just Daryl and Carol, fine. But you got to have somebody there who's going to carry that flag, and preferably a few people, right? Someone's got to stay and do the work, right? So, granted, other series are a lot of work too and everything. I get that, but you guys know what I'm saying. Party for Sean says, laughing my ass off. I'm not watching this shit anymore. It's just sad how everything is going. Very disappointed. Then EL said, you called it, Trev. And Mac-Abee said, I don't mind, so he really doesn't care. So, yeah, I guess this was a prediction that turned out to be right. I mean, not all my predictions are right. Tara's still alive, so so yeah, I've been wrong on that one. Like, what, 4 seasons, 5 seasons? I don't know. I'm gonna do it again. If I do a Death Predictions video, it's gonna be Alpha's gonna kill Tara. That's gonna be the title of the video. Alpha will kill Tara, and I'll be wrong again. Tara will survive again. Tara will be the star of the show. She'll be chewing bubblegum with her, her pink glasses or whatever the hell else. she's God and she'll be killing zombies at the same time, and you know, like a badass. And I'll be sitting here feeling so stupid because I always thought they would kill her, and they never did. Instead, they killed Carl off. So, God, man, it's like you're messing with us sometimes. That's exactly what they're doing, right? So okay, so people rage quitting on it. I get it. Not all my predictions are right, that's for sure. I guess this one turned out to be, you know, fairly accurate, even though I wish it wasn't. It's what it is, and Mac-Abee doesn't care, so that's good. So if he doesn't care, he doesn't care. You know, that's cool. It's just, you know, well, I don't want to undersell, you know, Michonne's importance. It's very important. And then the last one for today, I think, will be from Zeolek2000, who says, LOL, I don't see her leaving any other way than death. I mean, she pretty much has 2 children and a community of people that are like a family. What do you mean she has to find Rick? She thinks he's dead unless you get that info, too, that I can't see it. It's tricky for Zeolek2000. It makes it difficult for, you know, them to come up with something, because what you have is you have the opposite situation. Usually, you know, the writing team would go through, and the production people, they would plan out the season, they would decide what they want to do, and if someone's killed off, then they decide that, okay, we got to kill off this person or that person because it makes sense, because it's a zombie apocalypse and people are going to die as time goes on. It's the nature of the world, and we got to be faithful to the world. So they're going to do that. But this is a situation where they have to now connect the dots and write it in to figure out how it's going to work naturally for those characters to leave because of the real world circumstances. So it's sort of, there's probably a word for it, I'm not familiar with it, but it's the opposite of what they would of the regular flow. It's the opposite of them writing it out, deciding what they want to do, running it by everybody, and then having the actors and cast act it out. Now the actors and cast are leaving, so you have to go the other way. You have to decide, how do we make the story fit them leaving and have it not feel contrived, have it feel natural, to where it's like everybody is acting as you would think they would, and some twists and turns and some defy prediction, but still, you know, most everything's on point and it makes sense, right? So that's a tricky part. So how do you fit all those pieces, and how do you go the other way around? Not easy to do. A tall order for them. Yes, she is a mother in the series, her character, of course, RJ and Judith, and you could pretty much never picture her leaving them, the two of them, especially not RJ, because he's even younger than Judith, and it's hers, whereas Judith is more of like, she's her mother, but, you know, RJ is hers and Rick's, so it's biologically, so it's not that I don't want to offend anybody. I know some people get crazy over that stuff, but especially people who adopt and stuff like that. But so for both of them, it's going to be tough for her to leave. Definitely, right? It's going to be, how do they have it make sense that she would leave Alexandria, she would leave RJ, she would leave Judith, unless she takes RJ with her, right? Maybe that makes sense. Maybe you take RJ with her, and Negan becomes sort of an adoptive father for Judith, and hopefully JDM decides to stay on for a few more years at least, and JDM can run Alexandria. I don't know, like Negan can take over again. You guys know I'm down with that, right? I'm fine with that. It's fixed. Negan can fix it all. There you go. There's the second part to how to save it. Negan. That's it. That's all you need. So at least in my opinion, but not in other people's, because not everybody likes Negan. He's got a lot of people hate him. Still won't forgive him for the Glenn and Abraham stuff. Okay, so that's it for this video today, guys. How do you save The Walking Dead? Can it be saved? Will it be saved? Can Fear do it? Can Negan do it? How is Michonne going to leave? Will she take RJ with her? Will he stay somehow? Will Judith stay? Could she take them both and then lose another 3 characters? I don't think they can lose Judith. Judith needs to stay because there's no Carl, so you have to keep her in the series for it to even feel like The Walking Dead almost at all. Leave a comments below. Let me know where you guys are at with this. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? Don't forget, there's a new episode tomorrow night if you haven't seen the mid-season premiere yet, and I'll have the videos as per usual for you guys. Reviews, predictions, all that good stuff. Thumb up the video, guys. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you're doing good, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Subscribe to the bottom left. All that good stuff. Let's keep zombieing on. Let's keep doing what we're doing, and let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. Maybe it'll be okay. I don't know. We'll figure it out somehow. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again soon for another. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.